This podcast is brought to you by LOETB Community Education and Adult Literacy for Life.
The 19th of the 5th, 2014, Mountmellick main shed was started. And how it started was, it was brought up at a St. Vincent de Paul meeting that there was nothing for men in Mountmellick by Ray McFay, who was a member of the Vincent de Paul. And they told him to see could he start one at that time, and they said it'd help out. Ray got to work on it, and he had the first meeting was in Wolftone Court, and there was about 13 people at that meeting, I think. Following that, we had another meeting, and following that there was another meeting. He wasn't present at the next meeting, and Sister Eileen, she was at the meeting, and she decided to form a committee, and she made Ray McFay chairman, treasurer was John Farrell, and secretary was myself, Joseph Kelly. Then Ray McFay approached Reverend Ruth Noble, who was the Church of Ireland, looking for a building in order to set up our own shed. And we got a building at a very nominal rate from the Church of Ireland. So we set up a room in it for a meeting room, and upstairs we had a woodwork room. And we made things for sale for during Christmas, little farms and things for children. We sold them down in the square in Pat Cullen's house. He gave us the loan of the house, and we went from there. So then, to make a story shorter, the shed kind of was too small for what we were doing, and we were on the lookout for another place. But before we did all that, we went around to all men's sheds to see what they were doing. There were visited men's sheds in Lynch and Mountmellick, and we got ideas from them. So then Ray again was in Tullamore, and he discovered that there was 2 prefabs for sale, and we bought those, and we made a collection from every fellow who gave us a loan of money instead of getting a loan out of the credit union or the bank. So every fellow gave us a loan themselves, and when we got grants then for doing the work after, and they were all paid back.
You raised the funds within the men's
Within
shed?
the men's shed,
Within the men's shed.
Yeah, we were able to raise the money within the shed,
Yeah.
so that there'd be no interest or anything like that. It just anyone gave what they could themselves, and we were able to raise enough money to buy these two rooms and bring them over here, have them set up, and so on like that. Now we got decent grants as well, like, and those grants would then help to pay off the money to all the men's shed men, and also help with the furnishing. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Has everybody paid back?
Everybody's paid that.
Everybody's
Nothing left outstanding.
Long was the project?
About 3 years.
It was roughly, I'd say, every 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just because there's an awful lot of work done.
There's an awful lot of work on putting these together.
But, in the beginning there as well, Reverend Ruth Noble is her name, and she was very good to us. We actually got the garden in as well from the Church of Ireland. We bought a polytunnel. We set up the polytunnel. And we used to sow vegetables and sow the garden and all that. Then when we bought this place, or when we set up this place, parish priest Father Murphy gave us permission to build it here on the church.
This is church land.
This is parish land. Parish land, yeah.
But it's a lovely story how you got helped out by Church of Ireland, and you got helped out
by ourselves.
by yourselves. I love that's a real community story.
But sure, like if you take the men's shed, they are community. That's where they came from, and that's where they should stay. It's within the community. Any night we come in here for a meeting, what are we doing? We're looking after the community of people from Mountmellick and surrounding areas. That's basically what we're doing. You might only be sitting here for a chat, maybe for a half an hour or so on like that, and having a cup of tea. But all of that is important for people who might be living on their own, might be living out the country, only getting in maybe that one day a week or one night a week. All of that is very important for the social aspect of men's sheds. You know, that's the way I see it anyway. I definitely think the social aspect of men's sheds should be really, shouted about, because there's so many people, and you look around the room, any of us that's here, look around the room on a Monday night or a Thursday night, and every one of those people that are here, there's none of them young chaps. We're all getting on. We're on nearly.
Not that on.
We're all.
You're not that on.
It's open to any.
It's open to everyone and anyone that wants to come in.
The community bought into it, though, Mike.
Oh, did it?
Didn't they? The community responded to you. The stories you told me, or story you told me there about somebody giving you his house to go selling some of the Christmas decorations, etc., etc. The church is getting in behind you and saying that this is an important thing to be supporting. Were you surprised at that? Did that surprise you in any way?
Well, I don't think it would be surprising in the town of Mountmellick. The town of Mountmellick, from my experience of the town, is they're great people to give to something.
Yeah, for instance, the credit union will help us out as regards sponsorship. Also, Supervalue has sell lions at Christmas for a raffle, and we also go to the Druid for a table quiz every year, and that raises some funds as well. Because we're a commercial, we have commercial rates here, even though we're a charitable organisation.
Your commercial rates here?
Yeah.
Commercial rates, and we've tried everything in our power, but commercial. Our biggest overhead is insurance and our electricity.
Okay.
They're our biggest things. But we're lucky in the sense that Heather Humphreys last year, we got 2,000 from her, and this year we're getting 3,000. But we have to spend this to get it, which we have spent.
You have to match it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have the insurance, which has been paid the previous year, and we have the ESB eyeball the receipts from that. Yeah. That adds up. And then we buy stuff here. The likes of the floor here, we got €1,000 towards that from Lynch Partnership, William Ramsbaum. We put the rest of it to it. So that can be put in as well into 3,000. Yeah.
Is that still, though, survival? I mean, you have to survive, and you have to thrive as well as survive. I mean, it's not just a question of survival. But
the big thing is on a Monday night, if lads come in here, they don't have to put money in the box. We put up to a £5. Come in there, and we don't look at who puts what in or what goes in.
Okay.
Money goes into that box.
Okay.
We could have 60 or 70 euros every Monday night, maybe more.
Yeah.
That'd be every week. We'd have that,
Policy in the beginning was we used to say that whatever you have in your pocket, if you can afford to put in. We didn't push a set fee.
Yeah, we never pushed anyone to pay anything.
That's it.
But everyone came aboard, and everyone that comes in there on a Monday or Thursday night, if they haven't got it on Monday night, they'll have it Thursday night.
They're never
asked. They're thrown into the box, and they're never asked.
They're never asked.
We never write down a name as to what they gave or anything like that. It's whatever they give themselves, and they know that it's needed to pay the insurance and pay the light, pay for the cup of tea or whatever,
So tell me a little bit about the Monday night here. Is it planned, or is it random, or is it?
If there's something to be brought up at the meeting, now I was saying to Mick, we can't have a meeting every week because it's very hard to talk about something every week. So hopefully after next Monday night, which we have our AGM next Monday night, if we're back in, I don't know what's going to happen. I was saying to Mick, a meeting maybe once a fortnight would be sufficient enough. Yeah. So we'd have that bit of a meeting, and we'd put things out to the floor, and lads give different opinions, and we take them on board. If they run with them, we'll run with them. Cup of tea then, bit of a chat. Then there's the bit of music, and there's a few true stories told. And
I heard some of these stories already, and I also saw some of the footage that's up on YouTube of Mountmellick Sheds performances.
Yeah.
And I'd encourage anybody that's listening to us from the other sheds, which they will do when this project has been made public.
Yeah,
to have a look at what you do.
Yeah, there's a few of the Port Leash lads there. One of them asking me in particular, what night do we do music on a Thursday night? They know they have music in the morning maybe, and it doesn't suit someone, and he wants to come over to us. I said, if you want to come over, you're more than welcome. Anyone wants to come in can come in.
So you just sit down.
Sit down.
The instruments here.
Yeah.
Saw a lovely amplifier on the way in there,
Yeah,
and
the
I
amplifier
spotted
there.
the practice amp over here. Tell me what, so do you then just throw songs in, or what?
We all sing.
Everyone that's able to sing sings the song.
And even if you can't sing, you can sit here
You can
and...
sit
I
here
can
and
sit here.
without the pressure. Then we have
And you
some
can-
people reading poems.
Well, if he can't sing, surely he can do something else. So you'll find the odd poems. Most poems now are very interesting, I must say.
Yeah.
They're about the various times of the year and so on.
You like a bit of poetry, Mike?
I do, yeah. Well, I suppose I dealt with poetry all my life. I was a teacher in my day.
Have you a favourite?
But the Isle of Lynch free be mine one.
Beautiful.
But
Do you ever get back in on a ukulele or anything as you're reciting it?
I don't know. Some of them might listen to it. Others might. What would they say?
Switch off.
The light might go off.
The light
All of
goes
a sudden, there's something in the room next door here which has the lathes and
That's right,
everything.
yeah.
And all of a sudden, something needs to be
Something
turned.
might happen, yeah. Well, the one thing I would say again, to be able to come in, and we have men here that are over 80 now, and they are able to come in and sit down and have a cup of tea and chat. And some of them are not bad singers either. you
No,
know.
they're not bad
Some of them
singers.
very good singers, and they'll sing their song every week and so on like that. And that's wonderful. Yes, it's wonderful to see a place like that. People coming together, no matter what time it might be. As I said, we come here on a Monday night and a Thursday night. The woodwork group come here on a Wednesday morning up to 1 o'clock. And they have a teacher as well doing woodwork with them. They're right, Christy.
Do you enjoy it, Christy?
Yeah, well, one thing I find about it is I'm probably the farthest away of anybody, you know.
From here?
I'm near Clonaslee.
How far is that away?
Well, sure, there'd be, supposed to be 7 miles anyway. 7, 8 miles. I look forward to coming in here on Monday night. And I look forward to coming in every Wednesday because we do the woodwork here. And look forward there Thursday night. You know, there's a great crowd of lads here. Like they're a bit of banter, you know, that take the piss out of you sometimes. But that's part of...
That's part of men's shed.
Well, it's part of a group, part of anywhere, no matter where you
Part of a men's
no
shed.
matter where you work, no matter what, there's always someone to play a
Yeah.
joke. on
You
you.
still look forward
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
coming in
yeah, like
and being a part of that.
yeah, well,
That's the lovely part of it.
if I had anywhere else to go, I'd come here before I'd go.
Okay.
You know, like preference.
Okay.
I'd be involved in other things, in sleep bloom.
Like family. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's like
Well,
a unit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nearly like one time going to the pub. You think you're missing something if you're not.
Explain to me about that, because I find that element of it a really interesting element. That once upon a time in Ireland, the pub was the place
Well,
where
yeah, you thought if you didn't go every night, you thought you were missing
you were
something.
missing something.
No.
But now,
No,
Tell me.
there's nobody there anymore in the pubs. There'd be no one, there'd be young crowd there, and they wouldn't be interested in the likes of me, or I'd have to say, and that, you know. If you won't meet that many of your own age, so you don't bother then. But like here, nearly everyone's around at one. You know, there's no one that much apart from one another. Everybody, when you talk to them, everybody's kind of nearly went through the same experience as you did, coming up through life.
those conversations are important to have.
Oh, they
aren't
are,
they?
yeah. Yeah, no, you get involved there.
I'm fascinated about how it's settled in and found its place, and I'm really curious about what you just said there about the fact that these may have taken the place of what would have been a conversation you'd have over a pint or
Yeah.
whatever in the past
Well, it
in
is.
Ireland.
Yeah, because sometimes here there's a mighty crack going on, you know, like a few good characters here that when you rise them, like, they take the bait.
Spill the beans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Spill the beans to me. Tell me what sort of character.
And like, I mean, in a place like this, if you have a sense of humour and that you can take a joke, it's no place for you. Like
Well, there's no harm in the ribbon.
Oh no,
that's
there's
going
no
on.
harm
It's
in
not.
any of
It's
it.
not.
But,
Yeah.
but you can take some people there. You have to be very, very careful what you say. You know, be an uproar in a minute.
Was there?
Oh, it would, yeah. I've known from experience.
We have one particular man coming here, and I'd say he's one of the best characters in the shed. If you're a bad over, he puts you in good job.
Really?
Shea Faraday.
Oh,
He could come in dressed up as anything. Now, I'll show you a few photographs I've done my phone here. He could come dressed up as a Santa Claus. He comes in dressed up as St. Patrick. He came in here recently dressed up as a bear, wasn't it?
That's right.
For what reason?
I'd say Valentine's. He comes in dressed up for Valentine's as well.
Because it feels like it.
It's just his way of going on, and he's a Dublin man, and Dublin Bet Mayo, sometime he'd be outside and hear this music going, football music, come in there, the Dublin rig out and the ball under his arm. That's the sort, isn't he?
That's called Ruben Saw, didn't it?
He is now, but he came in dress up as a Mayo man one night.
Okay, that's fair enough.
You know, he went on an outing. Remember we went to an outing, Mick? Down to, where did we go? Down to
Cork, was it?
No, we went down the mines. Arigna.
Oh yeah.
There's no sign to Shay. Shay got off the bus. The overalls on him, the helmet, and the yoke with the light on the front of it, and the face all black. And next you see all these Americans getting around, Tajaks coming up over the mines, getting photographs with him. And we went from there back to Carrick and Shannon, wasn't it?
Right, yeah.
And we went out in the boat. There was no sign of Shay, but just next to Shay came off the bus, dressed up as a sailor. The cap, the whole rig out. That's the sort of Shay, isn't
This
it?
man now is over 80 years of age.
Never.
You know, yeah, and like the trouble he has to go to do those things. But again, it's down to like the enjoyment he gives to everyone when to see him coming in here. You know, the real enjoyment of seeing him coming along, you know. I saw him coming in here the day before Christmas Eve, remember that? And he was after me working, doing Santa all day in various places. And the man worn out, and yet he came in here dressed up in his suit and so on like that. I mean, that's amazing to see a person doing. You know, that even though he was worn out after being at it all day, he still came in here and was a bit of enjoyment, a bit of crack, and a bit of past remarkable people, you know. And that's what it's about.
And it's easier for him to go home and just take the suit
Oh, it
off
would
and
be
sit down
much
and have a
easier,
cup of
yeah.
tea.
Much easier.
80 years of age.
That's right.
And yet it was important to him. And that's the strength and the power of these men's sheds.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You probably don't have time for it when you're in your 40s or 30s because you're bringing up a family and you're involved in work. And when you do have the space in your lives for something like this, you channel it into making it better for everywhere else. That's what everyone else and every other community. And that's what fascinates me about this whole world.
And,
If, let's say the tiny towns or someone like that comes to us and said, look, is there anything you can do about this? And if we are able to do it, we'll do it. You know, if they come, there might be a flower box to be made, or something like it might be a bit of clean up somewhere that they could get done by the main shed. Definitely, we'll do whatever we can to help them out and so on like that. And that applies to every group. You have the yarn bombers as well. The yarn bombers.
Who are the yarn bombers?
They do all this knitting.
You know, crochet work and all that.
Around town, working around town at Christmas there, right,
No.
like that. That's the time you want to come around, you see it all.
They were here,
All up there.
the community employment group there, we were doing the art centre, and the community employment group gave us no end of help. They help out then, you see, when they're putting up the crib in the church, we help out, we're putting up the Christmas tree in the church.
Is the crib still in the centre of town or is it gone?
No, it is. It's in this year anyway, so far anyway.
So when the tree started first, the technology wasn't out then that's out today. And today you can do it with a PLC or something like that, program. But back then, Gerry Lynch used to do it, and he had a turntable of a record player, and he had certain parts on it where this point would be hitting it every so often. And Dad switch on lights and switch them off. And that's the way he did it.
And a record turntable?
Yeah.
No way. He used the system to do it.
And then he had contactors coming in and out.
John might be over, I'm not sure what he's coming or not.
He'll explain to you.
And we're lucky, we have our own Gerry Lynch here, this man here.
But I remember years ago, this is a story from...
An inventor.
Oh,
No,
and a good one. No, he can do...
I remember years ago I was working with Gerry, and we were doing this house in Portarlington, where this doctor, his wife's mother, I think, or his mother, used to get up in the middle of the night, and if she went down the stairs, it's very dangerous for her to be walking down the stairs. Gerry was asked could he do something, and what he did was, we hadn't got the technology then, what I did was I made a piece of a board the same shape as the top step, and he put a little micro switch underneath it, and if she stepped on that, it would ring a bell in her mother's bedroom, her mother, they'd waken up then and didn't know that she was at the top of the stairs. Jerry came up with the idea back then. I came up with back when the mobile phones came out first, the second edition. I made a circuit that I could switch on my light, the bedside light, with the mobile phone. Now that's before any of this. You can do that today.
Technology.
Wirelessly. Was it wirelessly or was it connected by wire?
No, wireless.
It was wireless.
Just all I do is ring my phone, and the light come on. And I made that myself. And I made it very simple actually. But it's simple to me. But what I did was I had my phone. You know when your phone rings, the screen lights up. So I had a light dependent resistor, and it would see the light on the screen. In turn, would switch a transistor. In turn, would switch a relay, and in turn, switch on wherever you connect to the relay. I made that back then. I was a certain time as an electrician, and then I went into electronics. Electronics was always my hobby, so I ended up I went into instrumentation technician. So I qualified as that down in the college in Carroll, like a few years ago, you know. So.
Bit of a genius.
And we were lucky to have him.
I actually made my golf trolley automatic. I have my golf trolley every week out in Gorry, Lynch, and I just press remote control and the trolley will go outside.
He even has a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, I made a wheelbarrow. During the pandemic, I made a wheelbarrow. I put three wheels on it, 2 wheels along with the first wheel that's on it. I made a 3-wheel one. I put a motor out of a golf trolley onto it, and had a remote control. And I filled the bar up with turf, pressed the button, and off it goes.
Joe.
Back long time ago, I won't mention his name. He was a prison officer.
Wasn't me.
And his house.
Were you in Portage?
Was, yeah.
His house. He lived out in the country, and his wife at night time. He was afraid that his house would be broken into, and all that. You know. So he had a gate going into the house, and he had a big long hedge along the front of the house. So what I did was I put a sensor at the gate, and it was looking at another sensor, the far side of the head, off down, so it could be 60 foot or more. And if you watch the sensor, what happened is the doorbell would ring once in the house, and then when you get halfway up the driveway, if you were walking, the light would come on inside in the hall.
Like as if there was somebody there.
Then by the time you get to the house, all the lights come on outside. And I made that from, I hadn't got the stuff we have today. I made that from relays and contactors and stuff. And I made the panel up and I pushed it into the attic in his house. Today, for instance, I'll give you an example. My little grandson is only 8 years of age, and I was down, he lives in Cork. I was down there last week or the weekend before, and he on my daughter's laptop, his mother's laptop, he was playing this game, and he brought in to show it to me. He was playing this. It was a game he played, and I was looking at it, and he said to me, "I designed that." And he's only 8 years of age. Yeah. We're being taught that.
Coding.
Yeah.
Coding, that's right.
Well, I don't know technology, but no, what I was going to talk about was the river and the fishing and way back, you know, the Onus River.
Goes into the barrow.
So you're connected to the Barrow
River of
Basin.
the Falls is the
What is that again?
is the River of the Falls.
Why is it so called the River of the Falls?
Well, that's the translation of Owen. That's because it's waterfalls and it's such a steep gradient on it.
Really?
You know, way back it was good to waterfalls on it, but you know the gradient is so close to the mountain. That's the.
Is the current really strong, or is it if you're
Well,
close
the
to a
current
mountain?
was strong. No, it was very strong. That's what I wanted to talk about. They set up a lot of mills, you know, the water mills.
Yeah.
Mills on it. Set up them on it, and they were able to get the power to drive industry from it. So, and it's a gradient. It is up and rising up the mountain about 6 miles away, but it had to come down the mountain, and it's fairly steep gradient. So they were able to use it for water wheels and a lot of other things. Yeah, there was a brewery or
Distillery.
here.
Yeah.
There were 7 breweries. They had bark mills, and I think you had 13 mills in all. There was power from it, and then the start of it all was where it changed the owners. There was an iron works, so that kind of started the industry. But when the Quakers came and they looked at the river, and they could see they had potential for driving water mills, and then the industries around that, and that's how it came about. And that brought about the prosperity in the town, what they call the Manchester of Ireland. It was one of the main towns in Ireland that thrived, but the reason was because it was close to the power sources. But then when steam engines came and electricity came, then it reversed. It was more economical to put your factories close to where you had population or close to the ports or whatever, and it meant that you had a decline then here.
From once upon a time being the Manchester of Ireland.
Yeah. That's the point. It was, we're talking about 1820s, 1830s, that period. You're back that far.
Mills, like clothes, was a textile?
Textile, there was over 4,000 employed here in the textile industry in this town at one stage. And that's a colossal number.
That's a huge one.
And consider then that you had 7 breweries and a distillery.
What textiles did they do?
Well, they did all the weaving and all that cloth, and they manufactured the wool or the yarn for doing the weaving. There was a Mountmellick embroidery. That was formed in 1825 by a woman, Johanna Carter was her name, and she done out the drawing. She was a very talented lady, but she was able to do the drawings for it, and she took her designs from the flora and fauna around the river, and she went up the river and you had thistles and blackberries and everything that's in it. But if you wanted to do a thing on that, there's very good samples over in the museum.